Welcome back to another Parts Avatar Canada YouTube video. In today's video, we're going to dive into a mystery that's got more twists and turns than the Cabot Trail. Why doesn't Canada make its own cars? We're also going to take a look at the history of Canadian car brands and the cars built in the Great White North. So grab your toque, grab your Timmies, and let's dive right into it. First things first, let's rewind our clocks back to the 1900s. Did you know that Canada was actually one of the first countries to produce cars? That's right. Brands like McLaughlin and Russell Motor Cars Company were rolling out cars out of factories and onto the streets. McLaughlin, that was actually founded in 1907, was producing carriages before they actually teamed up with Buick to make actual motor vehicles. They eventually became a part of General Motors. And Russell? They were known for luxury cars, but it didn't survive the economic turmoil of the 1920s. Just like most luxury items didn't. So why didn't these early brands make it big? Well, it all comes down to our neighbors down south, the good old USA. American car giants just like GM, Ford, and Chrysler set up shop in Canada. But when they did, they brought their big money, advanced technology, and mass production methods. This made it extremely difficult for Canadian car companies to compete and kind of break through. By the 1920s and 1930s, American companies were dominating the Canadian market. They built cars in Canada, but they were all American cars, just like the Ford Model T, that was made right here in Ontario. Now, Canada didn't just sit back and watch. We had some of our own unique contributions, just like the Acadian, Beaumont, Meteor, and Frontenac. These were Canadian exclusive models based on American designs with a distinct Canadian twist. The Acadian, for instance, was a Canadian version of the Chevy 2. It housed a big block Chevy motor, which even today can be seen in drag races or down drag strips all over the USA. On the other hand, the Beaumont was a Pontiac with a unique Canadian badge and a little unique Canadian touch. And who could forget the Meteor, a Canadian Ford with its own flair. These cars were popular in Canada, but sadly, they never made it big internationally. Right here we have Sakar and his 1965 Meteor Montcalm. So Sakar, tell us about how Parts Avatar was able to help you get this car back on the road.
So when I started restoring this car about 3 years ago, I had a really hard time finding all the parts that I need. And when I found about Parts Avatar, I was able to replace things like the water pump, bushings, master cylinder, and other parts like that. And the great things about it is the parts are more affordable than the alternative places, and they're shipped locally in Canada, so I don't have to pay these crazy shipping fees and tax fees. And they arrive in a couple of days instead of having to wait forever to get your car back on the road.
So why did Canada stop making beautiful cars just like these? It all boils down to economics. Building a car company from scratch is expensive, just like really expensive. The market in Canada was much smaller, and it made more financial sense to work alongside these big American car giants to build cars in Canadian factories. Setting up a manufacturing base, supply chain, and dealership network requires massive investment. For Canadian companies, it was more practical to collaborate with these established American automakers. Even when we fast forward to today, Canada is still a car making powerhouse. But we're building brands that you're familiar with, just like Ford, GM, Toyota, and Honda, just to name a few. We've got plants in Ontario and in Quebec, churning out some of the most popular models on the road. The Honda Civic, the Toyota RAV4, and the Ford Edge, those are all cars we know, and they're all built right here in Canada. These factories provide thousands of jobs and contribute billions to the Canadian economy. Now, what about the future? With the rise of electric cars and new technologies, Canada has the potential to innovate once again. Companies just like Magna International are leading the charge in automotive parts and technology, making Canada a key player in the industry. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll see a resurgence of true Canadian car brands, blending our rich history with our cutting-edge technology. Canada might not have its own major car brand today, but our influence on the automotive world is undeniable. From early pioneers to modern manufacturing marvels, Canada's automotive journey is something to be proud of. So if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you don't miss any of this cool content. In addition, let us know in the comments what you think of Canadian car brands. Do you think Canada should have its own car brands come back again, a resurgence of old models just like the Beaumont, Meteor, or the other ones? Or do you think that Canada should just keep producing cool cars, just like we produce the Dodge Challenger Hellcat here in Ontario? Or maybe we should produce other cars that maybe are electric. Maybe we should bring more electric car production here. Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and we love and appreciate your support. Remember, Parts Avatar has got your back, so don't forget to subscribe to the Parts Avatar channel so you don't miss any of these exciting videos.